Now, how does it differ from a multiple award schedule? If you've heard people talk about GSA schedules, and there's ads out there that say, "Oh, give me 30 minutes, and I will help you get onto a GSA schedule. You pay me several $1,000s, and you're going to end up with a windfall of millions of dollars dumped on in your company." That's not going to happen. GSA schedules are just a price list, essentially, and the vetting is much lower for a GSA schedule than it is for something like OASIS. To get on a GSA schedule, you're really just proving that you're not prohibited from doing business with the government and that you've sold what you're trying to sell them someplace else. If you go back to the beginning of GSA schedules, they were really meant for commodities. They were things like GSA used to sell office supplies. And eventually they said, why do we have to be the ones that everybody buys office supplies from? We should decentralize that. But that used to be a core part of the GSA mission. And you would have buying power, so you'd get some agreement on if I'm going to buy a pencil, if I'm going to buy a brick, if I'm going to buy a truck tire, how much should I, as the federal government, pay for that? That way, we don't worry about one organization buys 100 truck tires and another buys 1,000 truck tires. Across the entire government, we want to pool our buying power and get the best price. That works for materials. Where it started to get kind of odd and not as impactful is when it came to services. When you look at a network engineer, I don't have them in a room somewhere and we agree that for $75 an hour, you're going to get a network engineer. For $75 an hour, you're going to get a person that I can pay and still make some kind of profit on at $75 an hour. That's different from one company to the next. It's different in one location to the next. And so if you go to my GSA schedule and you get a network engineer, that network engineer at the same rate in New York City versus Topeka, Kansas are going to be very different. So the schedule is okay for services from the perspective of having a baseline for pricing, but it still takes a lot of vetting on an individual task order basis. OASIS Plus and vehicles where you do have to substantiate capability are like one step above that. So that's really what the self-scoring aspect goes to, and it does mean that you're a leg up on analysis of the capability of those contractors on top of a GSA schedule. So that's kind of the fundamental difference